As a business owner, you don't have to continue to do things the same exact way that you've been doing things. There are multiple ways to compete in your industry. In other words, there are plenty of ways to get the bag, as they say it these days. I'm going to talk about that today. Stay tuned. Welcome to the Tremain Show. I'm Tremain Davis, and today we're going to be talking about the different ways to compete in your industry. When you think about business as an entrepreneur, you generally find one way of doing things, and you think that that's how you're going to make your money, that's how you're going to do things. But the thing that I want to challenge you today is to think about different ways to do what it is that you do. How else can you compete in the industry that you're in? How else can you offer your products or your services? What else can you do in order to be successful in the business or the line of business that you're in? There are multiple ways to compete, even in the same industry. There are multiple ways to do what it is that you do. That's why there can be multiple businesses that are successful in the same space, because there are multiple ways to serve customers. There are multiple ways to do things that are going to add value to people. One of the first things that I always talk about when I discuss developing an idea or wanting to get an entrepreneur off to the right track is your value proposition, and you have to really decide who your target customer is and what problem you're going to solve for that target customer. Now, as you know, we have discussed on this channel, generally when you're trying to pick what problem you're going to solve for your customers, you end up finding multiple problems that you could solve for the customer. And what you have to do is you have to pick the ones that you want to solve. But that means that leaves tons of other opportunity to serve that same customer in that same industry. So another business might be serving a different set of problems or a different set of needs that a customer will have in that same industry. So as you begin to dominate the space that you're in, as you begin to get your processes and begin to get the things that you do well for your customers, as you begin to get those down pat, just start thinking outside of the box. What other services can you potentially offer? How else can you potentially serve this particular customer group that you have set out to serve? You set out to solve a certain set of needs that a customer may have, and that's what you're supposed to do. Focus on those needs. But again, there are multiple needs that you probably noticed, that you probably came up with, possibly plenty of pain, a lot of P's, possibly plenty of pain points that your target customer groups are experiencing on a day-to-day basis. So that's how you actually expand your business. That's how you actually start to do more with your business. Once you have one box and you dominate it, you start doing really well in that one box. The way you expand is to find some of those other areas that you can service your customers with. Are there other services that you can upgrade or offer to them? They're already customers. They're already happy with your products and services. They're already coming back to see you and visit you and use your services. They're already doing that. They're already locked in customers. So how else can you serve them? So that's what I mean by there are multiple ways to compete. There are multiple ways that you can offer products and services to your customers. Another lens or another way to look at this is if you're a new business and you're going into an industry and then you say, okay, well, I want to start this business, but, it seems like there's so many people doing what it is that I want to do. How can I set myself apart? This conversation applies to that thought process as well. If you are a new entrepreneur and somebody who wants to bring services to the market, you got an idea, and then you look around and say, oh man, there's so many competitors out there. There's so many people doing this. I don't think I'll be successful. This conversation is for you as well, because there are multiple ways, I'm going to say it one more time, to compete in any industry, in any business. So just because you see a lot of other guys and a lot of other competition out there serving a certain client set in a certain industry, that doesn't mean that you can't find a way to serve that client uniquely that everybody else isn't doing. You just have to think outside of the box. If there's one problem that you really want to solve, if there's one space or one industry that you really want to get into, look around and see what everybody else is doing. And then you can start finding the problems that aren't being met by your competitors. the solutions that aren't being offered by those other businesses that are in your space. So don't ever think that you're locked out. Don't ever think that you can't expand your business meaningfully to your customers. Don't ever think that the only way you can do things in an industry is the way that it's already being done. All right, that is how disruption happens. If you can think outside of the box, if you can think about new ways to do things, you'll always be on the cutting edge of innovation, and you'll always be able to bring new things to the market that nobody else has thought of. Because just think about it. If all those other businesses are thinking the same way that you were originally thinking before you watched this video, everybody is saying that there's one way that you've got to be successful in this industry. You're bringing a whole nother thought process to the table by saying, wait a minute, there isn't just one way to do it in this industry. There's multiple ways to serve this client or this customer in this particular industry that I'm trying to go into. I just have to find it. And if you go into it with that approach, if you go into it with that mindset, you will always be on the cutting edge of innovation. Just think about Blockbuster and Netflix. Blockbuster said, hey, the way you get videos into people's houses is by having video stores. People come in, they rent the tapes or DVDs at a certain point. Now I'm showing my age. Some of the younger millennials and Gen Zs, I guess, that are watching this video might be like, what is Blockbuster? Yeah, well, before Netflix, there was actually video stores where people drove to rent videos and rent DVDs so that they can bring them home and watch them. And then after 3 or 4 or 5 days, you'll have to take it back to the video store and return it. If you didn't return it on time, they would charge you late fees every day that you kept the tape or the DVD out from the video store. That's how video rental was done before Netflix. Like, Blockbuster was a $6, $7, $8 billion business, and everybody said, this is how you have to get tapes and movies into people's homes. If you didn't use Blockbusters, the thing that you used was you went to the movie theater. And if you missed it at the movie theater, you had to wait till they got the Blockbuster. That was it. Then Netflix comes along and says, wait a minute, this isn't the only way that you can serve clients. Clients want to have DVDs in their homes, and there are multiple ways to do that. And guess who ended up disrupting Blockbuster? It was Netflix, the scrappy startup in a garage that just had a different way of thinking about things. That's you if you're watching this video. You are the scrappy startup, the small entrepreneur, the small business, the early stage company that's thinking about things differently. Because you watched this video, it's giving you a new mindset, a new lens to look through and say, hey, I can do business differently than those that are in my market and ultimately dominate and ultimately beat my competitors and ultimately take my business to the next level. All right, that's it for today. Like, subscribe, share. Please send this information to all entrepreneurs that you know. People that are in business need to hear this information and know that they can do something different in their industry to stand out and to be unique. All right, so I want you to send this to all those entrepreneurs. As always, the best form of support is just you being here with me today, and I really appreciate you. I'm Tremain Davis, and I see y'all in the next one. Peace. This video is brought to you by Davis & Davis Investments and Management, a full-service business solutions firm. So whether you need one-on-one business coaching or training, or whether you need business strategy development, or if you just need to learn how to shoot professional videos from your iPhone so you can move some of your content online, we've been helping businesses win for over 10 years. So click the link below, grab your free consultation to see if we're the right fit for you.